Grigory Grum-Grshimailo. Grigory Grum-Grshimailo, Russian, 1860 to 1936, was a Russian entomologist best known for his expeditions to Central Asia, Pamir, Bukhara, Tian-Shan, Gansu, and Kukunor, Western Mongolia and Tuva, and the Russian Far East. In literature his name is sometimes spelled as Grigor Efimowitsch Grumm-Grzhimaylo or Grigory Yefimovich Grumm-Grzhimaylo. Life and work. Born in St. Petersburg, his early interest was in the phylloxera problem in the vineyards of Ny Danilevsky. He wrote his first scientific work at the age of 21 on some Lepidoptera of the Crimea, 1882, volume 8 of the Proceedings of the Russian Entomological Society. He was associated with Professor M. N. Bogdanov at the St. Petersburg Museum and contributed many of his own collections to it. He also studied the collections of the museum that had been made by Nikolai Przhevalsky, Gregory Potanin, Pyotr Semyonov Tian-Shan, and other explorers of Central Asia. From 1882, Grumm-Grzhimailo studied Lepidoptera from the Bessarabia, Podolia Governorate, Crimea, and the Baltic and got interested in zoogeography. While collecting near Sarepta, he met the German collector Ruck Bale. He also met the Grand Duke Nicholas Mikhailovich Romanov, who suggested that he should publish his work. He also promised his support for an expedition to the Pamirs. In 1884, he started his first Pamir expedition, on which he visited the Alai Mountains, ascending the Trans-Alai Range via Pass Tersigorsky to reach the upper Muksa River to reach Fedchenko's Glacier. He visited Lake Karakul and returned. He collected 12,000 specimens, 30 of which were new to science. Spurred by the interest to his work, he made a second expedition in 1885 visiting Karatikon, Darvaz, Bukhara Khanate, Gisar, Kulyab, Beltswan, Shakhrasayabs, Karshi, Guzara, Shirabad, Kapadian, and Kurgan Tayub. This time he collected 20,000 specimens of insects. His third expedition was in 1886 along the Kara Darya, via Pass Kugart, then up along the Naran Valley to the Narinsky Fortress, now the town of Naran, and from there to the south toward Atbashi and further to the southwest along the broad valley of Atbashi River, by the Atbashi Mount Range, along the Great Silk Route to Tashwarbad and Lake Chatterkul. They went until Kashgar and then via Pass Urkstam and back to Ush. Expeditions conducted with his younger brother Lieutenant M.Y. Grigory Grum-Grshimailo between 1889 and 1890 were intended to bring back specimens of Przhevalsky's horse. After capturing 2 wild horses in the vicinity of Gushin, 44 degrees and 90 degrees and 30 minutes ceased, and no longer afraid that shooting would frighten the animals away, they managed to collect 1,048 bird specimens. They traveled 8,600 kilometers. He made several more expeditions in the succeeding years, but he later lost much of the early interest in entomology owing in part to a conflict with the sponsor of his expeditions. A term was that the materials he collected were to go to Grand Duke Nicholas Mikhailovich Romanov, but he needed a private collection. He was accused of embezzling material, and financial difficulties made him sell part of his collection to Henry John Elwes. He was awarded the Constantine Medal in 1907 by the Imperial Russian Geographical Society. Publications. Collections. Many of Grumm-Grzhimailo's specimens of Lepidoptera and Coleoptera are in the Zoological Museum in St. Petersburg. Other specimens were sold to H. J. Elwes. Notes.